Hey guys, it's Divest. I just heard about a new trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. They finally put a release date on it for next year. Now I'm just going to get straight to the point. Grand Theft Auto is going to get obliterated at launch regardless of how good of a product Rockstar makes, with mass review bombing. Now I don't know exactly what gamers are going to bomb Grand Theft Auto over, but I can make some guesses. For starters, even if the game is good, it would only be good relative to other Grand Theft Auto titles, because Rockstar isn't going to change the core game design into something completely different. You're going to be left with a technically superior version of the game already available 12 years ago, with some new features focused around life simulation or something. It's not good enough to have an improvement over previous titles. You have to have the people who shit-talk every other piece of media preoccupied whining about some other non-controversial game launch in order to slip yours in where the NPCs can form their own opinions on it. Beyond the general problems with releasing a video game in 2026, I think that Rockstar's game design is particularly vulnerable to catching flack from gamers. Now I know there are a lot of Grand Theft Auto players and the franchise makes a lot of money, but I haven't listened to nerds talking about how great Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2 is. In fact, whenever I hear people who play Rockstar titles talk about it, they're always complaining. I can't imagine people are sitting around talking about how much they enjoy stuff like the controls in Grand Theft Auto. It's not a good shooting game. Your character slides around with a delayed reaction to all your inputs, and the agonizingly slow aiming on controller that is compensated for by giving you an aimbot. People also aren't going to talk about how much they love the dumb, glitchy artificial intelligence or the police response, where police spawn in front of you on the road close enough that you can't react to them before they spot you, and they follow you to your exact location. When I first played Grand Theft Auto 5, I thought it was terrible, because I played Saints Row before that since my parents knew of GTA, because of its infamy and wouldn't let me buy it, but would let me buy anything else like Postal 2. The big difference is that Saints Row took the idea of Grand Theft Auto and then modernized it by giving it adequate controls and game design that felt both challenging and rewarding. Grand Theft Auto has gotten increasingly idiosyncratic as time has gone on, focusing on life simulator stuff. Like, great, you can play golf without having to buy a golf game, but you can't aim for shit with a joystick, so you have to use the game's built-in aimbot because they haven't found a better system since Grand Theft Auto 3. And every single mission in the single-player and multiplayer includes some portion of shooting people. These sorts of design choices got even worse in Red Dead 2, where you have to dress for the right climate and take baths, and are likely going to be even worse in Grand Theft Auto 6. GTA 6 is also probably going to be a buggy mess at launch, possibly even unplayable, and have a hot mess of a multiplayer where people aren't going to be able to get online or launch the game because of the server overloading traffic the game is going to receive, since that's the state all of their games launch at. It's a romantic notion to assume that games with long gaps between titles were developed over all of that time, when in reality the developers worked on the game intermittently developing pre-production concepts before finally putting their nose to the grinder and squeezing out a turd along normal game development schedules. So Grand Theft Auto 6 was probably in serious development for maybe 3 or 4 years after they finished on Red Dead 2. This is why Valve canceled development of Half-Life 3. They made more money than they could ever dream of on Steam, and they knew they could never live up to the hype of a protracted game development. They had to jump into virtual reality in order to make another Half-Life game. The multiplayer will be infested with griefers, hackers, and DDoSers too, like Red Dead and GTA are already. Another aspect that is really going to piss off gamers is the monetization schemes, since at the end of the day these games exist to make money. Part of the reason Grand Theft Auto 5 has so many problems is because the game was released in an unfinished state to cover the cost of development, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5. But then with the popularity of the online mode, they were able to rake in a ton of money without having to invest as heavily into development, thanks to their microtransaction system. So they canceled any continued development on the single-player mode, with DLC or expansion packs instead, recycling all of their ideas into multiplayer and then locking them behind paywalls. With Grand Theft Auto Online 2, they already know this is a winning formula for making the most money possible with the Grand Theft Auto name. So they are incentivized to make the game more grindy to encourage the players to spend more money on it, especially at the expense of the health of the single-player mode. They also have plenty of information about the millions of people who are willing to buy their games on multiple consoles. Since Grand Theft Auto V has been released on 3 generations of consoles and Windows. At launch, this game will only be available for current generation consoles, but they are definitely going to port it to Windows within the next few years so that people will buy the game twice, or 3 times if they wait for Xbox and Sony to release the next generation of consoles and then use that to build the PC port. Grand Theft Auto V already got shit on when they released the game for a 3rd time on the current generation of consoles, so I think the novelty is worn thin. If they do support the single-player mode, it will definitely come in the form of DLC packs, which will have people complaining about how they're not making standalone expansion packs like episodes from Liberty City or Undead Nightmare. If they did make expansion packs, then people would instead whine about how the new content was exclusive to different versions of the game, so you couldn't own a casino in the zombie apocalypse. Finally, the culture war will probably take its toll on Grand Theft Auto. Keep in mind that Battlefield V got bombed, despite being an objectively superior game to Battlefield 1, which received critical acclaim, specifically because DICE made the mistake of showing a woman in their game, and the alt-right is even bigger now than it was back then. People who are looking for literally any reason to complain about the game being woke to farm negativity. If they're going to launch a crusade because Lola Bunny and the green M&M aren't sexy enough, then they're going to launch a crusade over Grand Theft Auto 6. On the left side, that South Park-style social commentary in Grand Theft Auto 5 was able to entertain the double-digit IQ fanbase, but in 2026, Rockstar has 3 bad options for political satire going forward. Avoiding satirizing political issues at all, which is going to piss everyone off for how cowardly it is. Punch down at leftists, which will piss off the majority of people and would be completely tone-deaf. What's most likely to happen is that the game will be woke and focus on satirizing right-wingers, since they're a really easy target while having a story that skews to the left wing. More like Grand Theft Auto 4. There will probably be some transgender characters in there that don't just exist for you to kill. Maybe they'll show the cops being evil so you don't feel bad about killing them. This will further enrage the right-wing audience for the game and could legitimately serve as a portent for the Republican Party to target Take-Two by trying to ban their games or something. I don't think getting a review bombing will kill the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Instead, what will happen is that people will complain about it for a few weeks and then forget about it and play the game like normal. Or Rockstar will publicly acknowledge the hate and then focus on fixing something stupid and irrelevant, and the idiots who bomb them will start purring like a kitten. The fact that I will be able to perfectly predict not only that it will happen, but why it will happen, should give any gamers in my audience pause. The fact of the matter is that you don't have a legitimate reason to hate these games as much as you do. You're getting some sort of toxic emotional catharsis, and feeling a sense of belonging by grouping together with other people whom you can agree with and feel empowered by seeing your actions affect the world around you. By shit-talking a game and getting the publishers to give platitudes to the haters. It's the 2-minute hate. That would cover the vast majority of people, but then you have the content creators who farm drama because it draws in more clicks and allows them to virtue signal to the gamer stereotypes who are feeding into your anger about your own life. So try to keep my words here in the back of your mind when you launch Grand Theft Auto 6 next year and are disappointed by the gameplay not living up to the hype. Or all of the people in your online community complaining about the game and linking articles about the campaign against it. Or the YouTube making a long-form video essay explaining why Grand Theft Auto 6 lacks the identity of Grand Theft Auto 5. Or the politician with the tweet about how they want to investigate whether or not Rockstar committed a crime with their monetization scheme, or by promising things they didn't deliver, or maybe even if they're indoctrinating kids with woke ideology. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you disagree in the comments so I can dunk on you. Until next time, this has been Devest.